Okay guys, welcome back, and today we're going to be taking a look at the S&P, specifically using the ES1 futures chart, just because that's what I happen to chart it on. Alright, and this also has a nice rhythm to it. We're going to be taking a look at the weekly, where we're able to identify the heartbeat of this market. Now, the first thing that we're going to be looking at on this chart is, like I said, the actual heartbeat of it, right? So these cycles here are not aligned with the Hurst cycles or specific lows of the actual price action. As you'll see, like, the lows don't necessarily hit at the right spot. This is more of an average, okay, based on seasonality of the actual market that we're looking at. So from that seasonality, we can take an average and kind of figure out the heartbeat, where we can sort of begin to look for lows like here. Here's another low right here. Here's another low right here. Here's another low right here. So on and so on. And we would expect a low right here, right where we're supposed to be crashing. There's a low. They're pretty nicely split apart, and here you could see that this actual cycle was very strong, very positive, and we never actually came into a sort of larger correction like we did even here. So one thing that we can do after we figure out the heartbeat is to figure out sort of an average price action that takes place within these cycles. And when we come to realize, which is very interesting, is that these sort of consolidation patterns are exactly the same. So look at this. When we take this one and put it over here, it's the same wave structure as here, as here, as here, now as here. So what's happening is that I'm going to show you guys closer look at that, but kind of just wanted to make the point first that what is happening is there's a sort of consolidation taking place, and in the last sort of 2 or 3 ticks of the actual final part of this consolidation, that's when price makes a decision of which way to go. So let's say right now, if we have this sort of replicated pattern that we expect to see, there's a close-up of it, right, that we expect to see at one of these cycle tops. Well, always skipping one, obviously, because this only aligns with certain parts of the seasonal structure. So let's undo this real quick and kind of show you what I'm trying to say here. So as you can see here, it plays out, then we skip one. Here it plays out, then we skip one. Here it should play out. So it's every other heartbeat that this is actually taking place. So we are now in the other, so we skip one here, and then we come into this one, and we anticipate the same kind of price action. Now, what's interesting about this is that, as you can see how closely it fits with that sort of area in the cycle, you see that the end of it is the decisive moment, not the beginning of it where we are here, but the end of it, right? So price sort of, I'm going to undo that real quick again. So price sort of bounces around in there, consolidates, and towards the end of it either breaks down for a correction, or, as in this case, this scenario here, price continues up, up, up and away. So when we take a look at this one, sort of the same thing happened, right? We consolidated, there it is again, we showed weakness, broke, and there was a larger correction. So what am I thinking here? My thinking is for the S&P, if we're going to go along with the same analysis that I'm sort of thinking for the NASDAQ, where these markets can actually continue going upwards, I don't see that this goes up right away. What I'm seeing here is sort of a flattened kind of price action that would be taking place sort of maybe sideways or higher, right? So if we align this a little bit better here, sort of this way, just to give it an average, you'll notice that the low that we just had, there he is right there, that low corresponds to this point in this pattern, right? You are here, right? So if we use the you are here sort of methodology, there's that first wave right there, there's that low, and here is what takes place again. You have another wave to the upside, possibly reaching new all-time highs, right? The you are here moment with the arrow, and here are these sort of smaller corrections, and once we break the actual arc for the cycle, the positive arc, you expect price to correct. So in other words, what would happen here is you would bounce around inside the arc, and then price would decide when it reaches towards the end of the arc, well, do we continue upwards or do we break down? And that's going to be the question that we're asking here today, right? Unfortunately, there's no real way to figure out which way the price is going to be going. Let me delete this whole thing here. But we can make inferences, you know, sort of based on fundamentals possibly, and perhaps some Elliot Wave Theory. I haven't gotten that far yet, but I did want to share this with you guys that there is a rhythm happening here. So here we are again with the same price action. Here is the moment you are here, right? We are here today. And look what price ended up doing. I mean, it just went, it even sort of broke out of this consolidation pattern much earlier. It just went straight up. Let's take it here again, back a little bit, skip one. Here's another one. You see that the pattern consolidates, price continues up, never breaks down from this arc of the positive cycle, and yeah, it keeps going. Skip one again, let's go back. Here we are, 2021, where we see the pattern develop again. Here's the you are here moment, the oh shit, no, we're gonna break down, and everybody jumps out of the windows, right? And this is what we did like over the last week or two, not even technically 1 week, so maybe we have another sort of down week here, because as you can see here, the price came down 1-2 weeks and then went right back to make a new all-time high at that moment. Price then came down, corrected as it left the arc for that moment, and then we had a larger correction. So as you can see, the pivotal moment here comes technically around about the half point, not the beginning point, but the half point. So possibly what we're looking at is another all-time high and then a decisive moment to figure out what's going to happen. So here's the you are here moment, right? Here's a new all-time high, and here's the decisive moment, and then it keeps going. Here, I mean, you didn't even get a really chance to really decide anything. This guy just kept going. We're going to disregard this specific one right here because that seems to be an anomaly almost, well, unless you look at it right here. So it's interesting to see how these patterns sort of copy each other. Here's the you are here moment, right? We are here today, and the price just kept going. So that's what I'm referring to when I think that this market technically has no real reason to come down. This is not a crash on board. if you're looking at the cycle specifically. There is nothing here that tells you that this is going to be crashing anytime soon. Sorry about that. That was a phone call. So I lost my train of thought. All right, so let's kind of zoom in and let's see what we can see up close that's taking place in this market right now. And what we saw was, of course, we had a nice bounce off the low. The low coming in right off the trend line. Perfect bounce. Really a perfect bounce. Really perfect. Really nice. This trend line right here. Let's make it a little thicker, right? Bounced, 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 bounced. And there we go. And now what we should be doing is consolidating, right? And looking to make the next high, possibly around 7,000. Maybe we actually hit that, by December 4th. Interestingly enough, when we take a look at the VIX, where did we mark that low? We marked it in the previous video. That would come in December 4th. Guys, that's incredible. That's incredible. Look at that. I mean, I didn't even notice this until just now. Here I am with my pattern. Here I have a high happening around December 4th, which is Thursday. And we have the VIX bottoming out almost exactly at that time. Amazing how these things really come together, isn't it? So what I would anticipate is exactly what we have here. We have price moving in up until December 4th. Moving up, I mean, not in. Moving back up until December 4th, looking to make a new high. It could be a slightly new high, right? Could be a higher high. We're not sure yet. Anticipated is this level right here, 7,000. Let's say around there. And then the price comes right back down. Right back down. This is your decisive moment right here. This is when the market decides, is it going to start to go down and have a breakdown like this, right? Or are we going to hug the cycle and continue upwards?